yesterday we were speaking about, well, for one, speech and how you and I right now are on a journey to improve our speaking skills and our public speaking skills, but also interpersonal speaking skills as well. With that being said, Lum, is there anything that you feel like you're working on or trying to work towards from a personal development perspective?
Not like anything in particular. I feel like about a bunch of things, like been taking care of my body a little bit more. Been trying to just do things like outside of like obviously like doing like self-care stuff. Okay. But then also just like improving on like I've been doing a lot of things outside of myself, and I feel like I feel very fulfilled doing that. So whether it's here, whether it's like out of these four walls, I feel like I'm just trying to get back right now. It's not really like improve on anything. I'm just trying to like get that right out there.
Okay,
That doesn't.
sure.
I guess like real like personal stuff. I think it is just like taking care of my body.
Okay, so what was like for you the turning point? Because I think when it comes to fitness, like there's time and time again we tell ourselves we're going to make a change tomorrow or next week or next month, and it has a difficult time sticking and really becoming something of habit. But what was the turning point for you that really triggered you and motivated you to take care of your body on a consistent basis?
I think I've always had phases where I would like go do well and then fall off. Like that's like the story of everybody's life, right? Where we just go crazy and then like just stop suddenly.
Yeah.
I think taking it slow was the big thing that like I figured out. Like when I want to start, like improvement should be, it shouldn't be like from here to like here, or else you're just gonna go good and then just fall off and you can't sustain it. But just being able to do like little stuff throughout the day, just like slowly like growing it, like picking up, like been running a little bit, and I remember like the first time I started running, like I was doing like 3, 4, 5 miles at a time, and I wasn't able to sustain that. Like, and now just doing like a little bit here and there, and slowly build it from there was like how I can make these consistent without having like a fall. Like start slowly but surely, and then like as you can take more load, you can I guess like improve on that, and then that's how you have constant development and growth, I would say.
Right.
So I feel like the big problem is just jumping in it too deep. We're not used to something.
Right, I see that being the hardest part, right? Like you hear New Year's resolutions and you hear people aiming to make a change, and so as trainers in the past, you would always see in January the gym is packed, right? And you have some people who are regulars, you have a lot of newcomers, and then it begins to taper off like months and months. You get to March and it's about the same people that you saw
At the end of the year.
in December. So with that being that personal training experience, like we talk about our personal training experience and how we've seen those cycles. For you, Kimo, like what did you like to say? I mean, obviously I'm sure there's a lot of experiences and a lot of takeaways from your time as a personal trainer, but what are some things that stuck out about your experience at Bay Club that either changed you or changed your perception of how things work?
Things work like in the training side, or just because I feel like something that, especially before Bay Club and all the injuries that I went through personally, kind of what Lum was saying was, I think when I always started that new season of working out, I was always in a sprint, forgetting that like the training side is a marathon, so whether I'm slowly, doing small little laps to condition myself, or getting prepped for this half marathon to a marathon, like that's just what life is for training, slowly getting your reps in and building the habits to sustain the marathon, and keep that pace up. So I feel like that's something like I learned at Bay Club, whether it was from like another trainer or talking to the other clientele that was in the building, and around that time, COVID also happened.
Okay.
So then being able to see like, hey, like even during something so chaotic as COVID, you still have to be consistent and work through things, for you to get closer to your goals. So I feel like that's something I've learned on the personal training side about how, life is a marathon.
Yeah. Well, speaking on life being a marathon, and I was speaking on taking things gradually, I feel like consistency is a big part of success, right? And I've always prided myself on being consistent and just showing up, right? Because you might not be the best, probably aren't the worst, but as long as you're consistently getting after it, consistently trying to grow and reassessing, I think you'll find yourself a lot farther in the long run, right? And if you're able to zoom out, I think sometimes, especially in our business, it's hard to zoom out, right? We're day-to-day operation, making sure clients are happy, making sure things are clean, things are taken care of, making sure that our staff is happy and that the programming is up to par. It's hard to take a step back and to zoom out, and for one, appreciate it, but for two, also give yourself grace that all change takes time and all great things take time. And so when we talk about being able to zoom out, being able to appreciate and give grace, for you, where have you found yourself recently, like maybe needing to zoom out or haven't been able to zoom out to start seeing the bigger picture?
When have I not?
Recently, most recently, when have you been able to, or recently noticed that you need to? On what aspects?
I think. Well, at church today, young adults, I'm gonna be speaking about like my story, and that was a good time to reflect on where I was, like as I was preparing for it. It's like a little like 2-minute message, but throughout the planning of that, I was able to see like, oh shoot, like this is the person I was, and like because it's talking about like my whole life. And then as I was planning and like looking back on my life, literally like I had to, right? I saw the things I was doing before and where I am now, and that was a cool, I guess, it was a cool way to see how much improvement there was, even like in like a short amount of time, not just from like baby me to now, but like the past like year or two from where I was. There's been a lot of growth and improvement. So I'm kind of was forced to recently, but it was definitely good to have that.
I feel like I've had my moments within the last like few weeks, whether it was when I caught COVID and having that time to sit back and reflect on the growth, or I was just telling him how my grandpa passed away a few days ago. But also I had one yesterday too. I was talking to my homie Ryan. He had just called me to check in and tap in, and I use those moments to kind of see where I'm at, kind of see what my goals are, still aligned with my whys. And then I also like was able to look back and appreciate the journey. I had quit my 9 to 5 like 2 years ago, maybe a little more than 2 years ago, and Brian was there around that time, so. And he also left a little after that too and started his business, so to be able to kind of tap in and see the growth from each side, was one of those moments where I got to kind of zoom out and kind of appreciate what everything is, Was I talking to you yesterday, or I forgot who I was talking this to, but I feel like ever since I had Clea, like she has these pivotal moments in her life that help me step back and reflect, or even zoom in and appreciate like what I have at that moment, and where she is. So I feel like I do that a lot, especially right now being mid-30s, bro. So
Yes, there's a lot of years.
yeah.
Already. I mean, obviously we're still so young. But at the same time, we've 32% loaded now into our lives at the very least. And so seeing some of my buddies today that came by just now, Kevin was in San Diego because Kevin went to school in San Diego. And so he's there for like a good handful of years even after he graduated. Daniel was somebody who has been away since after high school. He went to Berkeley and then he went to, I forget where from med school, maybe UCSD, but yeah, he's now an anesthesiologist, and so we always have sat and talked about eventually coming back to San Jose, right? I think when we're young, like he mentioned too, when you're young, you're trying to get out, you're trying to leave, and you're trying to see what's out there.
Yeah.
But now that he's back, he's really able to appreciate San Jose. It's better than maybe he remembered it. But again, your frame of mind at that time was a little different too. But I say that to say, yeah, like in the conversation with him, I probably haven't seen him. He hasn't seen the facility. So it's been at least 2 years since I've really talked to him. And then you get a chance to really zoom out and see where you were, who you are now, and even the difference in our relationship and in our dynamic as friends, how we talk to one another, how we're communicating, and see the growth is beautiful, right? And those moments, like you said, help you to really enjoy. You get to reminisce on what happened 10 years ago, what happened 15, 20 years ago, but also understand that we're in a place now where we can also make memories and be more consciously making memories and put an effort towards taking more pictures, recording more videos, having more conversations, spending time with family. Like as you get older, you realize you're in the driver's seat, and you can then start to create the life that you want for yourself and for those around you. And so we talk a lot about zooming out, right? And I think at times we need to zoom out. Are there times that you feel like you need to zoom in more or have trouble doing that?
I guess it depends on. Actually, no, I wouldn't say so. I feel like I have a good idea of what I need to do, or like I see my life in like different like seasons, and like in this season of my life, it's just a lot of like talk about me and just like giving back. Right, so that's kind of like my purpose, and I'm kind of locked in on that right now, and I'm not sure how that's going to change throughout. But I would say I'm pretty self-aware of what I'm called to do in specific parts of my life. Maybe the more like micro stuff, I need to start zooming in a little bit more. Like I have these ideas, and it's like, okay, how do I get them done? And then locking in and zooming those on like specific things. But I guess like in a purpose standpoint, yeah, I'm lucky enough to be aware of that. I feel like that is definitely a blessing. Not a lot of people have that, and I gotta be grateful that I have direction and I'm aware of it. But yeah, I'd say specifically like the micro stuff, I can do a better job like zooming in onto like the specific ideas and visions that are in my head.
For Kimo, like Kimo is so chill that I feel like you're always zoomed out. So I always appreciate when you share that you're able to take a step back and to see what the body of work that you have in front of you. Like, so same question to you, right? Like somebody who's so chill and who always is grateful, who always is able to have perspective. You also take care of the nitty-gritty stuff, down to the detail on a daily basis. So you ever feel the need to zoom in more?
Zoom in more? Yeah, at times, but I feel like I'm pretty consistent and locked into the goal and what I need to get done, so I don't know, I feel like I'm a little more zoomed in than zoomed out at times. So like it's hard for me to stop and smell the flowers because I have that tunnel vision, so I try to take those opportunities to zoom out, but majority of the time I try to stay locked in, but I definitely know that, I think you had said it yesterday, there's times where maybe I don't take things so serious, like where it's like a matter of life or death type of stuff, that last part wasn't your words, but that's kind of how it is, so it's like I make sure that I handle the smaller things I need to get done on a consistent basis so that I can zoom in on other aspects that I have in my life to kind of lock in and kill.
Right. Do you have any strategies, you guys, any strategies that help somebody know when to zoom in or remember to zoom out? Like, what are some strategies that you do to implement those moments or those opportunities for that kind of perspective shift to happen?
I feel that, like, especially with the athletes we work with, a lot of times, like, they're zoomed in as well, too. So it's where you see frustration come out at times, you know, whether it's their emotion or them physically doing something. But having to like remind them to how far they've gotten in their journey and how much further they still can go, and this isn't the end. You know, this is just practice, another rep, you know. But us also being athletes, we do understand, athletes understand how at that point why you're so frustrated. It's because you know you can do it, you know. But just reminding them that, hey, like, this is why you are upset. Because you do believe in yourself, you do believe you can do it. It's just that at this moment. So I think those are great times for me to, at least that I use to like have the athletes step back to, okay, hold on, like I am in this marathon still. You know, this is just one of those hiccups in the road. So I don't know if that would be called a strategy, but that's one of those moments I see and I'll address it.
I'd say constant reflection and self-awareness. Like self-awareness is like hard, but if you make it a habit to self-reflect every night after every like, I feel like you will get into like emotional like episodes, right? Like everyone's gonna go through it, but after all those, if you have like the ability to just reflect on what happened, in those moments, like you can figure out to zoom in and zoom out. So like, I feel like when you need to zoom out, it's when you're feeling stressed and anxious about the future, and that's when you want to zoom out. So just having those moments of like reflection, of okay, like right now I'm feeling like this. Okay, I need to take some time to zoom out. And then in times where we need to zoom in, is like when we're too like lackluster, like feeling a little bit out of our groove. I feel like those are moments that like if we can self-reflect it, okay, like I'm feeling a little lazy right now. I got to zoom in, and also so like again having that reflection time, but then also having people around you to give you those, like you're talking about, like, you're that for the athletes. Right? But I think everybody needs somebody because it's hard to, when there's so much going in our heads, it's pretty hard to recognize times to zoom in, zoom out. But when we have people around us that like see who we normally are and see the times where we're feeling a little bit off, they can give us some perspective as well. So those are, I would recommend having mentors and people in their life to see what to help you along that. You can't do life alone.
Yeah.
What about you, Keith?
I think that makes a good point. Like constant reflection to gain self-awareness allows you the opportunity to see when you need to zoom in, zoom out. I thought you did a really good job of defining those moments because, yeah, you know, now you said it, it's right. Like when I am stressed, it's because I'm probably overworking. It's because I'm too locked in, and I need to zoom out and just see the big picture and understand that, you know, things take time. But at the same time, when you are lackluster or you're lackadaisical, you then need to zoom in, and at that point, you're just taking care of the next thing that needs to be done, the lowest hanging fruit. Then you start to get yourself back on track of where you need to go. I think a strategy, just to add on to what Lum was saying, is to plan those sessions. So whether you're journaling in the morning, or you're journaling at night, or you're saying a prayer and you're reflecting on your day, I think just constant scheduling. And if for you, you can't find the time on a daily basis and make it something during the week, make it an hour, 2 hour block that you can spend by yourself. And I think a lot of reflection has to be done alone. It's beneficial to talk. And like he had mentioned too, like my wife, you know, shout out to her. She does a good job of keeping me grounded, right? And because when you go home, as much as we spent all this time trying to be Coach Derrick or Coach Kimo, Coach Lum, when you go home, like to your significant other, she just cares about who you are and how you're doing. And it really helps you then to slow down and just check in with yourself at the same time, check in with her and really talk and decompress. And I think those things are important. I think like for the longest time, I didn't schedule in family time with your significant other, your parents or your siblings. Like those things are important because those people are important to you. And what you don't make time for is what you lose time for. So you have to just continue to do better and create those opportunities for yourself. Now,
Kind of piggybacking off of what you guys said, a memory popped in my head of when I was at Bay Club. And something I had learned there that kind of fits the scheme of everything we're talking about was when you first have an orientation, you assess them, right? And throughout the journey, you want to reassess so you can move them up, move them down, you know, progress in the right way. But we have to do that to ourselves in our own lives. right? Constantly every day where we're reassessing whether that's our schedule, our values, you know, and making the moves to make sure that we are executing that in the right way, you know. And so I feel one thing that was said to me when I was there was we make time, or if it's important to us, we'll make time for it, you know. So if fitness is your thing, you figure out how to fit it within your day, you know. So I feel like it's kind of paid or lifting what you guys are saying up to like a higher level in a sense, because it's like, yeah, I have to readdress myself and self-reflect or reassess, you know. And at the same time, like if it's important, whether it's the gym, business, my family, myself, I will make time for it, you know. So sorry, just had to throw that in there.
That's it. I'm gonna add to that.
I like when you talked about like intentionality, like about scheduling time for people or times self-reflecting, whether it's a habit to reflect in the morning, at night, throughout your like. I used to have like a point where I would just like self-reflect if it ever came up, and when I was just like going with the flow like that, it's easy to like lose track. So really having times and being intentional with self-reflection, I think, is super important. It can't just be like a spontaneous thing. Because then you can easily go off track when, you know, life is full of ups and downs and roller coasters. So no matter what you're going through, if you have like time, if you want to improve, you need to schedule time to self.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who was it? Actually, I forgot what Jorge said, so I was gonna omit it from this conversation. But I think, on a more macro sense, I am somebody who struggles with vision planning. Like I'm very good at being zoomed in, but I'm not the best when I zoom out because I don't know where the end goals are. And so, as of the last couple of months, I've been doing a better job of starting to define that for myself. Like, what is the goal? What does the end look like, or what do you want it to look like? And so, I would have to say that definitely get better at getting ahead and planning and scheduling, right? Because like you can only plan and schedule if you know what the end goal is and where you want to go. And so the clearer you can create your vision, the clearer you can make your vision, the more obvious that the path that needs to be walked is. So
I'm the complete opposite. It's just an equation after that.
right,
Where are you at? Where you want to go? What you got to do?
I'm the complete opposite, I'd say.
Yeah.
Like I feel like I have very big dreams and aspirations.
Yep.
But then when I try like planning out to get there, I get very overwhelmed with how much it takes. And I'm like, oh shoot. Like, and then I just don't take those steps because like it seems too much in the moment.
I think when you're young though, like the idea of 10 years seems like such a long time.
Yes.
But you've only lived like 1 decade.
Yeah, that's half of my life right there.
Right.
Yeah.
But as you get a little older, you see these stints of 3 to 5 to 10 years as being just a marker of time.
Milestones, in a sense. Yeah.
10 years go by so fast that if you really don't appreciate for it and plan it out, then you're gonna look back 10 years later and be like, where did time go?
Yeah.
Well, time is definitely a construct that can be used against you, or you can use it in your favor to help make sense of what you have going on. So anything else?
I have a question.
Sure.
Did you guys always want to have a place like this?
We'll finish with this last one.
Yeah. Damn, I just had this conversation with Jaden. No, I didn't picture it looking like this.
Was it like the idea of it though? Not like exactly looking like this, but like having a space like this. Was this like always in your head to have?
And when I first started my journey,
Yeah.
no. Only because I was at a commercial gym in San Jose, and so in my head it was just a commercial gym and like a hella weights, hella machines, platforms and stuff, right? It wasn't until I relinked with Ant and Derrick that we started talking about fishing, and I integrated our vision with that, with kind of what I wanted to do as well too on the bigger gym side.
Yeah.
You know, so I feel like everyone on my first journey, when I first started the journey, no. But then when we were meeting, going to ready spaces, I definitely pictured something similar to this. But I think I'm also picturing the next phase of the journey, or maybe 2 phases down the line, you know. But I do appreciate where we're at, because it's like those stepping stones and kind of what we're talking about, those milestones to get to where we need to get to.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, not at first, but
I think very similar to kind of where you are right now and how you feel like that's a logical next step for you in terms of what you need to do. I think when I was younger and I was just training, I was more focused on myself as an individual, and then focused on just the clients that I had around me and just helping everybody reach their potential. Whereas now, not only do I want my clients to succeed, I want my peers to succeed. I want my coaches to succeed. I want to create a platform for other people to thrive, right? As opposed to just myself and the people I'm training from a basketball perspective. So back then, no, I was too worried about me just seeing what Drew Hamlin was doing, you know, flying around the world and training NBA players. I felt like that was what I wanted and where I saw myself, and not having necessarily a gym, because gyms come and go, especially if you don't own your own space. Like, you rent gym, you might rent this gym, and then a week from then your contract expires, or they no longer allow you to rent for those hours, and then you gotta go find somewhere else. So the locations always change. I mean, we were at, I don't know how many gyms, you know, before we got into this space, and so it just seemed so fleeting, you know. And having your own space seemed good, but what if you want to move around? What if you want to be here or be there? Like, who's gonna take care of the gym? But now I understand that this gym and this building is not just a platform for myself, but it's for everybody I care about. It's for everybody I'm trying to grow, and it's for them to allow them to now have a platform and a place to grow themselves. And so the gym is definitely was not what I thought it was when I was younger. I always wanted a gym, but I didn't really think about it deep enough to know if I wanted a gym or not. But now that it's here, like people said, I'm worried about the next one, or what the next one's gonna look like, you know? Take care of this one and plan for the next.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I was asking that because I feel like my dream is too big, you know, and it seems out of reach.
sure.
And like, when planning for it, you're like, oh, I have 10 years, but there's no way I can get to where I want in 10 years. Right? Maybe it's possible. I don't know. Right. So when it comes to like planning for a space like this, I just wanted to know like where your guys' like mind space was, and like how it actually all led to this. But that can be a conversation for another day.
And will definitely be somebody good for that, because he was always
the visionary.
the visionary and leading the planning and leading the idea. We would just put him at work. So
Yeah. Gotta go get a haircut, guys.
all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, Loki. Your little first pod. Oh, your second pod. First pod with you though.
With you.
With you. Yeah. Okay, I realized that as we were talking that